Hello everyone, how are you? And welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some of my favorites when it comes to gut health. If you follow me on my Instagram, you probably have a very good idea of some of the recipes that I'm going to be showing you today. One of those recipes is going to include some gut healing gummies, and the other recipe is going to include a bone broth recipe. Along with that, I will also be talking about sleep and hormones. And I know I've mentioned this in the past, but these types of videos are some of my favorites to record for you guys because I just love talking about all things food, natural personal care, and just all the holistic wellness and gut healing things. Now, I have done 3 other favorite type videos, and in my last video, we talked about food. Of course. We also talked about some of the things that I like to do when I start to feel like I'm getting sick, and we also talked about the squatty potty. Yes, we talked about a squatty potty. So I will leave those videos linked down below in the description if you want to check them out. But for now, let's go ahead and get started with today's video. All right, guys, this first favorite I am actually wearing right now, and these I will typically put on once it starts to get dark outside. That way my hormones don't get all out of whack and I'm actually able to get a good night's sleep. So these right here are called blue light blocking glasses, and these ones are from the brand Klassy network. As the name implies, blue light blocking glasses are glasses specifically designed to block blue light. And when it comes to blue light, there are natural forms of blue light and there are artificial forms of blue light. An example of a natural blue light is the sun. That's part of the reason why the sky is blue. And artificial forms of blue light include all of the electronic devices that we use on a daily basis. Things like our phone, our TV, our computer. I mean, I'm sure you're aware of all the electronic devices that you use on a daily basis. And the thing with blue light exposure is that it raises a hormone in our body called cortisol. That's why in the morning when the sun starts to rise and it starts to get brighter outside, we are naturally going to feel more awake and alert. During the day, blue light is actually beneficial to us because we get a signal that it is time to be awake and it is time to be alert because it is daytime. However, here is where the problem starts to happen. Once it starts to get dark outside, the blue light that we have from the sun is slowly starting to fade. And then we switch over to our electronic devices. The thing is, when we get all this blue light exposure from our electronic devices, it will continue to send a signal to the body that it's still daytime and that we should feel awake and alert. Probably something we don't really want when we are, trying to go to bed and actually feel rested the next day. So ideally, instead of cortisol, we would want our body to start producing melatonin, which is our sleep hormone. However, when we expose ourselves to all this blue light from our electronic devices, our body can start to get a little confused. It will get confused because you're exposing it to all this blue light, so your body is going to think that it's still daytime, that you should feel awake and that you should be alert, when really we're just trying to go to bed and get a good night's rest. All this blue light exposure is affecting your melatonin production, which is going to affect your sleep and ultimately affect your health. That is why I like to wear these. I will wear these at night when I am, watching shows like Love is Blind. Who's watching the reunion? I am so excited for it. I just can't wait to see what's been going on, and Lauren and Cameron are my absolute favorite. But anyway, I love to watch shows at night and I will put these on, or I will be on my phone or I'll be on my computer at night and I will be having to put my blue light blocking glasses on. The other thing that I really like about them is that they do reduce the eye strain and they do reduce the chances of me getting a migraine from looking at my screen so much. Plus, they are super cute to wear. And the other thing that I also wanted to show you is a little demonstration of how the blue light blocking glasses work in comparison to my regular glasses. Okay, on my table, I have the blue light blockers. I'll kind of show you a little up close of them as well. And then on the back, it does have this KN for Klassy network. My regular glasses, and this is what I'll be using to test how the blue light blockers work. So on the back of this blue light testing card is this strip, and I'll put my glasses on this strip and I will be shining this blue light on to the testing area. So I'm gonna go ahead and shine the blue light onto my regular glasses first. And whether you wear glasses or not, this is a type of blue light exposure that you're gonna be getting with your electronic devices at night. So I'm gonna just go ahead and hover that blue light right above the testing area a couple of times here, just to give you a really good idea of what that blue light exposure is going to look like. All right, there we go. I'm gonna remove the card. And clearly you can see all that blue light exposure. Now let's go ahead and compare that with the blue light blocking glasses. Just like we did with the first one, I'm gonna go ahead and hover that light right above that testing area to see the difference. Okay. Check out the difference, you guys. Huge, right? I'm sure that that was very eye-opening. No pun intended. But if any of you are interested in getting some blue light blocking glasses, I will leave a link in the description to the same exact pair that I personally love. That way you can check out their website, see what other types of styles they have, because they have a ton, and get your hands on some blue light blocking glasses so that you're able to get better sleep and you don't mess up your hormones. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump onto the next thing that I've been obsessing over. Okay, these next couple of favorites are going to include 2 healthier swaps for yogurt. One of them is going to be dairy-free, and it's actually going to be the one that I use to make the gut healing gummies, but we'll talk about that here in just a second. And before I show you all of these yogurts, one thing that you will start to realize when you watch my YouTube videos, or if you follow me on Instagram, you probably already know this, but I pay attention to the ingredient label. And like I mentioned last week, here in the health and fitness space on YouTube, not that many people are talking about the importance of paying attention to ingredients. People are more so focused on calories, the fat, the carbs, and the protein of a certain item. And a lot of the time, the ingredients can really be a game changer when we start to pay attention to them, because the ingredients could be affecting things like your gut health and your overall health and fitness goals. So now that we have that out of the way, the first yogurt that I want to show you is from the brand Stonyfield. This is their plain Greek yogurt, and not only is it organic, but it is also 100% grass-fed. What does that mean? When something is 100% grass-fed, that means that the animal was able to eat a diet that is natural to them. Grass. Cattle eat grass. And so when the cattle eats the grass, it's more than likely going outside, getting some exercise in, and getting some sunlight. So let's think about this. When the cattle is fed a natural diet of grass, gets exercise in, and gets some sunlight in, what do you think happens when we eat the dairy? We will get dairy that is more nutrient dense. We will get dairy that is made up of healthier fats, and it's going to be much healthier for us. Does that make sense? On the flip side, let's talk about conventionally raised cattle. Conventionally raised cattle is fed a very unnatural diet. It's very inflammatory to them. They eat a diet of grains, corn, and soy. More than likely things that are genetically modified. So let's think about this again. They eat a very unnatural diet that is very inflammatory to the cattle. They more than likely don't get enough exercise, and they more than likely don't get enough sunlight. What do you think happens when we eat that dairy? We probably don't feel the best, right? So quality and paying attention to the ingredients are a game changer. Let's talk about the dairy-free yogurt. They are from the brand Lavva. This is their original. They also have a raspberry, a strawberry, and a blueberry. I personally love the original and the raspberry. And one thing I want to mention about yogurts in general is that in the ingredient label, it will have sometimes an ingredient that says locust bean gum, or it will have an added gum in the ingredient label. It's not in any of these, but a lot of the time in some yogurts, that's one of the ingredients. And what you may not know is that these added gums can be causing some digestive issues such as gas and bloating. And as I promised, I will be showing you here next how to make the gut healing gummies. We'll be using the original, and we will also be using gelatin, which is really good for healing the gut. So for the gut healing gummies, I'm going to be using some gelatin. Now this is unflavored, so it's not going to give the gummies any sort of taste or anything like that. It's also going to be really helpful for the texture of the gummies. I have some of the lava yogurt here in original, some cinnamon, and then my favorite juice, which is the Martinelli's Gold Medal Cider. And as far as the juice goes, you guys, you can feel free to substitute it with your favorite juice. This is just a tried and tested recipe that I really enjoy. I've also made these gut healing gummies with kombucha before. Just feel free to have fun with it and test out different juices if you'd like. I have some measuring cups, measuring spoons, a whisk that really makes it easy to mix everything, and then a glass dish that I'll be putting the mixture into to form the gummies. I'm gonna turn on my stove, put it at a low heat, and I'm gonna add in the entire container of the original lava. Next, I'm gonna add in 2 cups of the Martinelli's Gold Medal Cider. Give everything a good mix, and then I'll add in 5 tablespoons of the unflavored gelatin. And I like to add in the gelatin 1 tablespoon at a time because I like to make sure that I'm mixing everything and it doesn't start to clump up. Finally, I just add in a little bit of cinnamon. I don't measure this, I just kind of sprinkle in a little bit. And that's it. Now I'm just gonna transfer it to my glass dish. So I went ahead and put the mixture into my glass dish, and I put some plastic wrap on top of it because I'm gonna be putting this dish into the refrigerator so that the gummies form and get their texture. After a couple of hours go by, I'll show you what these look like. Okay guys, the gut healing gummies are done. They were in the refrigerator for an hour and a half to 2 hours. Mixture is fully set, nice and bouncy. I went ahead and cut some up into small square sized pieces, which is usually the way that I like to snack on them. And again, this is just such a great way to be able to get some of those gut healing benefits in throughout the week. Make yourself a nice big batch and snack on them throughout the day, or if you have a morning workout and you don't want to run on an empty stomach, just grab a couple of these, eat them before your workout, and you'll be ready to go. Another item I've been loving lately, and I recently made the switch to, is non-toxic pans. Eventually, I would love to get an entire set of these things because I love cooking, but for now I have only 2 items from their line because I didn't know how I was gonna like these pans after all, but after 4 months of using them, I have been loving them. I love the way that they cook, love that they're non-stick, non-toxic, and they clean up so easily, you guys. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see the brand name, but they are from the Original Green Pan. I'll put a picture of them here on the side as well for you guys to see what they look like. Why I decided to get non-toxic pans is because I had watched a while back a documentary on Netflix called The Devil We Know. Highly recommend it. That way you are able to make your own decision and see if you want to invest in non-toxic cookware. And in that documentary, it talks about how traditional nonstick pans are made and how they release toxic chemicals when they are overheated. The company that they're talking about in this documentary knew the damage that they were doing when they were creating these pans or this cookware, but they still kept creating that cookware and using those chemicals. So it's really, really eye-opening. If you're wondering where it is that I got them at Target, and then they also do sell their entire set at Costco. Moving on to the bone broth, you guys, and today's second recipe. But before that, I would love it if you guys hit the like button. That helps me with figuring out the types of videos that you guys are really enjoying. It does help the channel out, and when you like the video, it also allows other people to be able to find my channel and find this specific video. Going back to the bone broth, I do have some here. This is organic chicken bone broth. The way that this is made, for those of you that don't know, is that it's made with things like water, apple cider vinegar, spices, and the bones of the animal. In this case, it would be organic chicken. What happens is that these items are slow simmered for a pretty long time. I remember correctly, on their website it said 18 to 48 hours that this is simmered for. And when it slow simmers for such a long time, all the nutrients from the bones get broken down and it creates this broth. And that is why it's called bone broth. If you've never tried bone broth before, the best way that I can describe it is think of chicken noodle soup, the soup from chicken noodle soup, or pho. So if you enjoy chicken noodle soup and you enjoy pho, you more than likely will like bone broth, especially the way that I'm going to show you how to make it today. It is really savory, very nutrient dense, it's immune boosting, and then it also has a lot of gut healing benefits because you're getting the collagen and the gelatin from the bones that were slow simmered. Collagen, as you may know, is really good for your hair, skin, and nails. And then, like we mentioned earlier with the gut healing gummies, the gelatin in the bone broth is also very beneficial for healing the gut. So now that you know a little bit more about bone broth, let's go ahead and hop into the bone broth recipe. All right, items that I'm going to use for the bone broth include bone broth, ghee, and then for some spices, I have this organic turmeric twist from the brand Frontier Co-op. I have some adobo seasoning. I'll be using the juice of half of a lemon, Himalayan pink salt, black pepper, and then some optional things here, which include cilantro leaves, and I'll be cutting up a little bit of avocado to put into the bone broth as well. So I'm gonna turn my stove on and put it to about low to medium heat, and I'm going to add in 1.5 cups of the bone broth. Okay, the bone broth is heated up a bit more. Next thing I'm gonna add in is 1 teaspoon of the ghee, half a teaspoon of the adobo seasoning, 1/4 teaspoon of the savory turmeric blend, a little bit of salt and pepper, and the juice of half of a lemon. Last two things, like I said, are completely optional, but I really like adding in some cilantro and avocado. Okay guys, I poured myself that warm bone broth, and I honestly wish you guys could taste this like right now, or at least smell it, because when you put all the things that I put in that pan, they all just kind of come together and it just makes this really delicious tasting broth that is just, it's so enjoyable to drink. I know I post this and the gut healing gummies on my Instagram all the time, and you guys are asking me, what do I put in these recipes? So I hope that this video was helpful and that you enjoyed it. On the side here, I will put some other videos that I think you will love. Take care. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next Thursday. Bye guys.